All right, everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case over on Rumble, of course. I need to make sure to start it and then pause it. I don't like to see myself like 3 times at once. It distracts me slightly. We've got some interesting news today. Undecided Pennsylvania voter. We're voting for the future of our country, not the candidate we want at our wedding. More debate fallout, of course. We've got the CNN panel actually smashing Kamala Harris after the debate. And CNN literally going to war with ABC right now because of the poor moderation policies. I do have to say, I mean, I hate to say this because it should never be said, but I'm team CNN on this one. They are fundamentally correct. And this is a very, very weird electoral cycle. We've got Joe Biden wearing a MAGA hat. We've got Kamala Harris basically pissing herself on stage. We have CNN attacking ABC. We have Donald Trump refusing a debate that he already pre-agreed to. He had wanted 3 originally. I don't even know what's going on right now. It's just complete political chaos. So we'll be talking about that. Geoscientists detect rapid uplift at unique volcano in Tanzania. By the way, we're going to get into the Maasai people and some of the weird shit about them. Yes, indeed, a massive volcano looks like it's ready to blow its top over in Tanzania, or at the very least, it's preparing to do so. Talking to a chatbot may weaken someone's belief in conspiracy theories. That is a very, very loaded subject, and we're definitely going to get fairly deep into that. And then in Pennsylvania, interesting article. Pennsylvania, a single grain of rice could win the presidency. Fundamentally correct. It is possible that a single voter could flip the state. It's that close. It's probably going to be within several thousands of votes. There will probably be a recount, probably a mandatory one. And so it is of import. If you are a Pennsylvanian, I desperately plead to you, please go vote for Donald Trump. And don't just vote for Donald Trump. Do everything you can to get him elected. Knock on a door, harvest a ballot, bring a friend, whatever the fuck it is that you do. This election is pretty important because Donald Trump's opponent happens to be a psychopath. So we're going to talk about that as well. And I'm not being, subjective when I say psychopath. I'm like, no, Kamala strikes me as the sort of person that kicks puppies, and that makes me uncomfortable. I'd rather the president of the United States be someone who is reasonably coherent. They don't have to be perfect, but, they're capable of speaking. Kamala's not. Somebody who's reasonably mentally normal. I mean, speaking for myself, of course, I'm not mentally normal either, but I don't kick puppies. I have a feeling that Kamala Harris fucking does. She actually scares me. Somebody who won't start a major war. By the way, we've got our V8, the official Clanker drink, V8, along with jam and bean coffee, of course. So you got to get your caffeination. In the midday, though, you've got to get your fucking V8 in. We're going to see if we can get the quartering to chug one of these bad boys. He had one of the small cans. He's not a vegetable fan. That was good. I'm glad that we got him to drink V8. But now he's got to drink one of the 2.5 serving ones. So we're going to be challenging him on that. Lord of the Ree, my cover of Angel of Death by... Hank Williams is almost done. Just need to record vocals. Y'all can check out the rest of my video, my music at Long Walks Music on Rumble. It's adequate. Sounds good. What do fuck? Kamala might not kick a puppy, but she would toast over on a Haitian barbecue. Yeah. I'm going to New Orleans in less than 2 weeks. I'm definitely enjoying Haitian food. I expect I probably won't find fried puppy down there. But if I went to Kamala Harris's barbecue, maybe. Rakita Lafra-Prez just sent X message about GPS data allegedly showing Kamala using the same people for rallies and bussing them in. That is true. Fact check true. They have been bussing people in. I wonder why they have to do that, by the way. Lord of the Ree, Sticks, you'd probably like my cover of Free Fallin' by Tom Petty, my original song called Wake. It's got old school vibes. It's pretty chill and has great guitar solo. Clank. Yeah, Free Fallin's a great song. I'm sure I'd enjoy it. Link me on Twitter DM if you can. The Beeve. I'd like to add a little Himalayan sea salt and pepper to my V8. Unnecessary. V8 is pretty much already perfect as is. I mean, look at this shit. It's just literally a vegetable slurry. They don't really have a lot of additives. I will vouch for V8. I drank it as a kid. I drank it as a teen. I fucking drink it now. You're not going to take my fucking V8 away from me. Ain't nothing going to stop me from drinking that shit. Mulgera. Morning, Sticks. I won't be here live. We have to put out our cat Charlie down today. My apologies. My condolences. He's 16 and has kidney failure. It's pretty rough to say the least. I know that feel. So my sympathy and empathy. Lord of the Ree. Or my original song. I guess my voice to text is Haitian, aka... Yeah, I can't say that on YouTube live stream. My apologies to Lord of the Ree. David Hunter. Spicy V8 is superior to all. I disagree. I don't like spicy V8. I like the original gangsta V8. Mungy, something not talked about. Trump needs to get a VP debate also. This would be huge. The optics of Walz post comments against Vance would be a potential final shot. I think that's already planned, actually. They've agreed to that one. Ray Atkinson, have trouble growing things, plant chives. Yeah, chives it's pretty hard to kill those. Herbs in general. Samantha Canterbury, love the shirt. By the way, you're glowing today. Thank you. John Horn, Kamala stumping for mandatory V8 buybacks. If Kamala comes for my V8, then definitely she's an enemy of the state. You're never going to take it from my cold, dead hands. You know, you can shoot me. I'll still have the V8 can clutched in my hand. The V8 will be spurting everywhere and, you know. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit off topic right now. Let's go to the actual news, because that's sort of why we're here. Undecided Pennsylvania voter. We're voting for the future of our country, not the candidate we want at our wedding. This is a tacit endorsement of Donald Trump. And this is true also. Donald Trump is not the sort of person that you probably want to invite to your event, unless it's like a star-studded event and it's just a bunch of celebs and stuff. Then he steals the show. Would I want Donald Trump at my wedding or my, birthday party or something? No, because he's going to use it as an opportunity to fucking roast his opposition. He's done this repeatedly, actually. Like he'll show up randomly at a wedding, but then he'll start talking about politics. He's not necessarily the most personable person in the world. That being said, which one would I rather have a beer with or have tomato basil soup with? Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? It would be Trump. He might not like it because he seems to, be a beef eater more than anything, but he'd probably complain less. Kamala Harris is the one that shows up to your party and then does weird shit, hanging off of the disco ball or something like that. Donald Trump is just the pontificator. Which one is more disruptive? It would be Kamala Harris in that case. This is the way that people should, by the way, gauge politics. Don't think really about personality, because that's not what politicians are for. They're effectively for making public policy, actual politics. Donald Trump has sane ideas. It does not matter what his personality is, insofar as he's capable of initiating any policies. It matters what the policies are. With Kamala Harris, she's incoherent and a goddamn mess. Okay, maybe she comes to your birthday. I don't know why you want her to come to the birthday party anyway. She doesn't have a personality either. That being said, policy-wise, she is far inferior to Donald Trump in virtually every matter. I would say every matter, but we'll give her a little bit of latitude here. There's probably a couple of things on which she's better. She's definitely better at giving head. I don't think Donald Trump's ever done that. Apparently, she's done that a number of times. Not to anyone who is sane, but to advance her career. Kamala Harris has a shitty personality, but that's not of import. Having a bad personality doesn't really matter within the political context. What matters is, what laws are you going to try to pass? What will you veto? What will you sign off on? What kind of executive orders would you propose? What kind of executive orders would you actually sign off on? Maybe you propose it, but then you say, well, I'm not going to sign off on this. I'll let the legislature handle it. What kind of people are you going to put in the Supreme Court? These are meaningful issues. People are being very, very flippant right now with regards to politics, I've noticed. Ultimately, Donald Trump is far superior to Kamala Harris in virtually every measure. The only thing that she's got is she's younger. That's literally it. That's the only advantage that she has. And I mean, the Democratic Party is crazy to run with her, but I mean, they didn't really have a choice. They had to force Biden out because of his shitty debate performance. It was clear he was going to lose in a massive landslide. So they decided to cycle him out to the only other person who could actually retain the vote in places like Wisconsin, where if you cycled the candidate out and it wasn't somebody who was already on the docket, then you're fucked because there's no way for anyone to vote for them. That's the only reason that Kamala is the candidate. By the way, this is a white pill moment. Keep in mind, the only reason that she's even the candidate is because they didn't have another choice. They literally did not have another choice in several very competitive states. I think it was Nevada, Georgia, and Wisconsin, if I remember correctly. Well, I mean, that's election. That's the election. You cycle Biden out and you don't go with her, you can't win any of those states. Trump easily wins re-election. It wouldn't even be fucking close. She was also the only one that was also on the ballot with Joe Biden. So it sort of made sense. But God, she's being lashed hard right now. If Trump had, what we would consider a mediocre performance at the debate, and admittedly it was, and I'm tired of hearing Trump superfans tell me otherwise, she had a poor enough performance that she's still, she's going to have a problem. I don't think that she'll win. I think that Donald Trump will win. Made a video about that the other day too. Once. I gotta say, I have the best time turning off the screen and just listening to your morning videos podcast style. I've thought about doing podcast style material. I'll have to test that soon. Affable Zombie. Will Haitian voodoo ever walk on the North American continent the same way it would work in Africa? How would the correspondences work? Oh, work, not walk. Sorry, again, my screen right now is not a 2K screen that I'm normally used to using. And so sometimes the text is a little bit weird. Yeah, Haitian voodoo does apparently work according to its practitioners. Never done it myself. Although I am going to go to some voodoo shops. Not the touristic ones, though. I want to go to the back alley where actual Haitians, like, rip chickens' heads off and shit. I want to have a little fun. I want a little occult adventure. Alex Better. If you're still suffering from insomnia, recommend just one coffee before 10 a.m. Caffeine and lack of sleep has a cyclical effect. Sleep source, sleep therapist. I didn't even have any caffeine this morning. I've just got terrible insomnia. I've had it since I was a little kid. Sometimes it takes me hours to fall asleep. Sometimes I wake up at like 2 a.m. randomly. It doesn't matter whether I imbibe caffeine. Oscar Gonzalez. Sticks. Trump kept mentioning World War III. Some psychic mediums have mentioned a possibility that we'll come close to a nuclear incident sometime around November. I think legacy media and the current admin are covering up something. That is entirely possible. I wouldn't put anything past these people at this point. I mean, they almost let a presidential candidate get shot in the head, so. Jason Lane. Trump was and is far superior to Biden in 2020. but he still has an enormous share of legitimate votes. Hashtag 2020 was stolen. What prevents the same hijacking from happening again? It was unbelievably blatant last time. Well, one part of it is defortification. Another part of it is him riding well ahead in the polls. Webster's Wares. Good morning, Clankers. Free shipping using code STICKS at websterswares.com. Free shipping on orders over $40 and use code CLANKER2024 for 15% off site-wide. Clank, baby. Lord of the Ree. Sent you a DM on X. Hope you like it. I've got some new originals on the way as well, so stay tuned. Can't wait to see them. Daddy Gill, how big of an area do you suggest for sixes for 2 people? I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Are you talking about gardening or burying somebody in a shallow grave? Webster's Wares. Cannot believe Biden and Harris are giving Ukraine missiles and now letting them strike deep inside Russia. They will start World War III to stop Trump. Clown world has no peaks. Yeah, indeed, they're really pushing it right now. You don't have to be a fan of Russia or a fan of Putin in order to understand the danger that's involved with what they're doing right now. What the fuck? Have you seen the YouTube video, Gilligan's Island, a hilarious Kamala parody of Gilligan's Island theme song? Yes, I've actually posted it before. That's an A+. That was pure mimetic. BW, don't think Trump fucked his chances with the no more debate. It makes him look weak, to be honest. I would urge him to reconsider. It doesn't fuck his chances. He's still running ahead of where he was in 2016. But I don't want Trump to win in a squeaker. I don't want him to win by a few thousand votes in a handful of states. I want him to utterly fucking crush his opposition. Number one, he deserves it. Number two, it would make a statement by the American people. We're tired of this bullshit. So, yeah, I do believe that he should debate again. A hero duelist. First, Afghanistan has been unburdened by what has been. Soon the world. Who's ready for Kamala 2024? Yeah. And that's the funny thing. That particular statement that she made, I understood what she was saying. The problem is that you got to convey a message to people who are not experts in linguistics. And so she completely failed with that one. More V8. All day, every day. Yeah, CNN is smashing ABC News right now. CNN panel clashes after Democratic guests suggest debate moderators were harsher on Trump. Oh, yeah, but we just got a little bit of a leak, actually, this morning. I mentioned it this morning, actually, myself. Apparently, the Kamala Harris campaign did indeed get debate notes. Why am I not surprised? They got the debate notes, basically a pre-script, but the questions were effectively identical to what was actually asked of the candidates. So if you went based on that, and apparently the Trump campaign did not get these notes, then you knew what was going to be asked beforehand. It's basically a workaround. It's like, these are the questions we might ask you. Prep for these. We won't ask them all because we're not going to have time, obviously. But this is the plethora of things that we might ask you. So, prepare accordingly. And probably gave it to her days ago. It looks like the Kamala Harris campaign was prepped before the debate. Again, not even remotely a surprise. It's sort of like if you had a Fox News debate, probably Trump would do better. Then people would say, well, then he got the debate questions beforehand. And it would be entirely possible that he would, because the debate would be lopsided. What you need is a fully neutral network, but none of them exist. The only fully neutral network you could possibly get is you get a couple of YouTubers or something like that to host a presidential debate, which, by the way, would be the funniest thing in hell. It would be absolutely hilarious. So it looks like Kamala got the questions beforehand. Everyone is so surprised about this. It's not a Donna Brazile moment, of course. Cultivated Mind. Hello, Clankers. We're having a Sticks merch raffle. Just enter code STICKS at checkout to be entered to win one of 3 prize boxes from the Clanker sponsors. Hats, hoodies, spoons, biltong, coffee, and more. Sounds like a fun time, my nan. Sticks, unbutton that silk blouse a little more and show me your tits. Don't be shy. Yeah, no, I'm showing enough chest already. What do fuck? Volcanologists claim the past century is very low for volcanic events. If eruptions reflect solar radiation, doesn't this explain a rising global temperature? Maybe. Huh. I didn't know that they claimed that, actually. That's fair. I'll have to look into that. If you can DM me on Twitter, I'll get more info. Toxic mix. 3 big errors that I think prevented a debate victory. 1. He was too blunt on the pets and 9-month abortions. While true, they're easily dismissed. 2. He should have invited the mods to debate for Kamala. 3. Muted mics kept Kamala on script. Your thoughts? I disagree. I think there were 2 big problems. The muted mics actually helped him. He has to be more linear. He does better with the muted mics, in my opinion. The number 1 problem was that you had adversarial fact-checking by the mods. And the number 2 problem, and this is self-inflicted by Trump, he could have caught her, and this happened half a dozen times during the debate, he could have caught her in a moment where she says something vacuous that doesn't really stick to the question. And he should have come out and said, look, America, she can't answer basic policy questions. How is she capable of leading? Now, his opening and closing statements were good. He generally held his own, but he never really sucker punched her. That's the problem. I mean, some people were saying, I mean, goddamn, I've been a Trump fan since the 2016 election. I wear a MAGA hat sometimes. I'm a super fan of him because he saved me a lot of money, didn't start a war, and I really like the dude. I think that Trump is pretty cool. But there were people like core MAGA fans. They were criticizing me the other day and saying, well, you know, Donald Trump did better than you're saying. And I'm like, no, you're not understanding my point. My point is that this is Kamala Harris. He should have been able to completely punch her out and end this campaign in a single night. He did all right. There's nothing wrong with that, but he should have done better. He should have prepared better. And once it was clear that she was going to do the cackling route, he should have hit her hard, and he didn't do that. That's just the truth. Drunken movie reviews. Hey, Sticks, updated my old 2003 review of Brotherhood of the Wolf. Just posted here on Rumble. Just got a few other weird and odd movies there. Just click on my beer and pencil icon to check it. Sounds fun. Yeah, Brotherhood of the Wolf, my the best movie of all time, assuming, according to me. Emperor Soft Turtle, did you see that Tim Wall's gaffe I sent you where he called Kamala a prostitute? Yes, he misspoke. And he called, this was the other day, he meant to say prosecutor. Instead, he said prostituter. That was a pretty bad gaffe, yeah. I mean, but it's Tim Walz, so ask anyone if they're particularly confused over why this would happen. The Sumerian. Sticks, whenever I hear people say, why wouldn't they rig the elections this time? I want to remind them last time there was mail-in ballots because of lockdowns. Yes, that's an important point. Matt, as an ex-Dutch, do you like salted licorice? No, fuck no. Absolutely not. It's an abomination. Liz likes that stuff. The Dutch can have it. I don't want any of it. By the way, let's get to our sponsors, shall we? We have cultivated-mind.com, where you can get mushroom pills. I've still got to bring a bottle of those over here because I've got my part of my rig set up here in the living room, the rental property. They don't taste bad. They seem to work. I didn't get mine this morning, unfortunately, so that's probably why I appear a bit more scatterbrained. But they do, anecdotally speaking, they do boost energy, and so they're pretty great. PumpkinFireCrafts.us, where you can get keychains, belt chains, engraved spoons, glassware, and much, much more. Also bookmarks. Important for the bibliophile in your life. Remember, basically it's Halloween. You're reading all sorts of occult shit. Get yourself a bookmark. They're handmade, and they're pretty good, actually. I've still got a few of them left. Gave away a few of them as gifts to people. BiltongUSA.com or AntonsUSA.com, where you can get delicious meat from Anton. Anton will literally feed you his meat. Yes, I mean, that's his entire purpose. Also, Sticks, Hex, and Hammer mugs, tumblers, and shirts available as well. Wicked Needle Embroidery.bigcartel.com, where you can get Sticks, Hex, and Hammer hats. You've got the offset logo and the center logo. Several colors are available actually as well. And so you can get Sticks, Hex, and Hammer hats. The number of people that messaged me directly after I made the first video wearing one, I couldn't keep up with it. It was like, every 5 minutes somebody's messaging me, where can I get this hat? Where can I get the hat? I'm like, holy shit, they're not even available yet. I'm doing my best. HeritageHeirloomSeedCompany.com, where you can get a seed survival bucket. Those Turks turbans, which actually are pretty fucking tasty, actually were from them. The cucumbers too, but they get destroyed by mold, unfortunately. I've got to reformat the garden a little bit, make it a little bit more efficient. Also, Sticks, Hex, and Hammer soap. It's cedar, it's clove, and it's blueberry. And trust me, it smells like a dream. Yeah, you're going to get laid after you wash with that shit. Disclaimer, I'm totally being hyperbolic there. But it does smell really good. Websterswares.com/sticks-wares. Or you can just go to their general website. They've got Trump paraphernalia. There's Sticks paraphernalia. We've got knives, which are very sharp. Be careful with them. I learned that the hard way. Jackets. Metal straws, actually, which is like when I go down to New Orleans, I'm going to be eating turtle soup. But I don't want some random turtle in the actual ocean to have like a plastic straw stuck up his nose. So, metal straws for the win. There's one, I think, right over there somewhere, but I can't actually see it. And then finally, jamandbean.com. That is jamnbean.com, where you can get delicious coffee and tea. Also, they actually coordinated with me earlier. They were making basically a brand for the new coffee. Clank Coffee is coming soon. Yes, we are going to have our own Clanker blend. Right now, in the meantime, if you want some caffeine, get the Costa Rica blend. Just trust me on that one. So yeah, those are our sponsors. Senor Faces. Donald Trump did the best that he could on 1 versus 3. Again, I agree. But his approval could be higher if they assist you on Sticks, Fumo, and Garden Gnome production. Oh God, Garden Gnomes. So now I'm supposed to make plushies, but now I'm also supposed to have like a lawn jockeys or something. It would be a little figurine of me, but in blackface. Yo, show am. Eat your vegetables or drink them. Wigwak. I'm a bit behind on the stream, but I think Lex Friedman would make a good YouTuber moderator for debates. What do you think is the likelihood of podcast-like debates in the future? Well, it's been done already. Trump has gone on podcasts. Elizabeth Warren did with Charlemagne the God. It's just that she completely got crushed. Do you remember that one where Charlemagne the God completely destroyed Elizabeth Warren? That was funny. Clinton, I think she went on one, but it was that was kind of a joint podcast radio show now when you think about it. And then she started talking about hot sauce in her handbag. Older school politicians are not as good at the podcast generation sort of thing. You may have noticed this. Even Donald Trump, he's well-spoken, he's more relatable, even he occasionally has problems on that kind of format. Would it be a problem for a millennial politician? Probably not. They're used to it. Is it a problem for anyone who's like a boomer silent gen sort, like a Biden? He went on Charlemagne the God too, etc. Well, it's a huge problem. It's also hilarious. Senor Faces, jokes aside, sadly people haven't changed by the debate, and even if they hate Kamala, Dems will vote for her because orange man bad. Source, my own boss. Yeah, partisans will vote for the partisan candidate. Sam the Gray. I went to my hometown last weekend. It's a very blue area. I saw over 10 Trump signs in yards, which is up from basically 0 ever. White pills only. I'm hearing those reports from a lot of people that they say they live in an area that tends to lean towards the Democrats, but they're seeing like nothing but Trump signs. I am seeing that. You are not the only person who has told me this, so I tend to believe it. Lord of the Ree, if there's been a lack of volcanic activity, how can you explain the eruption of Mount Van Halen? Oh, God. What the fuck? Many YouTube videos about the year 536 when a major volcanic eruption caused global winter, possibly Krakatoa. They claimed eruption averages are way down for the last 100 years. I didn't know that. Let's see. Liz's large bull. Instead of changing your clothes and bathing, you decided to stink up another room? The mushroom brain pills really work. I see. What happened to your debate coverage video? I heard you were as high as balls. Actually, I wasn't. I was, however, completely punch drunk. Again, I've been suffering from significant insomnia lately, so if I act a little kooky sometimes, there is a reason for it. Toxic mix. You made some good points. I maintain, given the mods were such a problem, it had to be called out in real time. If he challenged them to debate, it highlights, but from a position of strength. Yeah. But, Trump can only do so much at one time. He's not Shiva. He doesn't have, an extra set of arms, so to speak. Minor Zircon. Trump mania is running wild, brother. Why do people keep bringing up spicy V8? I hated it when I tried it. I tried it exactly once, spit it out, and then never bought it again. Then there was that low salt V8. I think it's still available. That stuff fucking sucks dick. It's supposed to be a little bit salty. God, otherwise you can't get the full flavor. All gone, sadly. Now it'll be on to the next can, of course. I don't understand spicy V8. You took like a product that was already basically perfect and ubiquitous, and every kid wanted to drink it as the only way that some parents could get their kids to imbibe vegetables at all. And you decided to change the recipe. It's just like they have the fruity V8 or something like that. I don't fucking understand it. Just give me regular old V8, the original gangsta V8. That's all I'm asking for. It's sort of like Dennis Leary's comedy bit there with beer flavored beer and coffee flavored coffee. That's sort of how I feel about V8. And then people are saying V8 is gross, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but I won't revoke your clanker privileges, but I am reprimanding you officially. Chanel, the only one that's good is the spicy one. Oh my God. There are so many dissidents in our ranks. Do we need to have like a Praetorian style purge or something like that? My Praetorians, you need to go out and take care of some of these people. They need to be, at least give them a slap on the wrist. How dare you say that V8 is bad? How dare you say spicy V8 is better? God damn. I prefer tomato juice over V8, says what the fuck. Acceptable. Still a dissident, but an acceptable dissident. Tomato juice at altitude, by the way, on a plane at like, 10,000 feet. That tastes definitely very good. If only they offered V8. I'm astonished that they don't, because I imagine that it would be like the best experience ever. Because salty things taste better when you're in the cabin pressure. Anyway, Mesner Flux. Lex Friedman interviewed Trump last week, for your information. It was okay, but shorter than usual. Candidates should be put through long-form interviews, in my opinion. I agree. Musically assured destruction. Lots of pet memes online because of Trump bringing up migrants eating pets. Is that a good thing if normies see them? Most don't seem anti-Trump. Yes, it is a good thing. And it is happening. I did talk about that this morning. The average Haitian migrant is not going to eat your cat. But the fact is that some people have been starved, if they're from Haiti, starved for so long that they'll eat anything that moves. And in some parts of Haiti, especially the more rural parts, so we're not talking Port-au-Prince or something like that, people are used to simply slaughtering random animals and eating them. They have no other source of protein. I don't even blame them for this. I feel sorry for them. But when you bring them to your country and everyone has their cats and their dogs and shit out in their yards, and you're from Haiti and you weigh 100 fucking pounds and you're used to nicking animals anyway, you say, God damn, this place is basically a buffet. America #1. I imagine that they are actually having a great time. It's only happening sporadically, but it is happening. And the fact is that the gaslight is that it's not happening at all. Bullshit. Of course it is. Peas are fruit. Kind of, sort of. The pea pod would technically be equivalent to a fruit. Typically, though, we have to talk about the difference between the culinary and biological terms of what is a fruit or a vegetable. They're a legume. Yeah, beans technically are a fruiting body. What do you think? I mean, it's a seed that you're eating. The bean pod would technically be a fruit. It's just not a sugary one. The grizzly. What do you think Michigan will go for in 24? I think that will go for Kamala. Do you think there's a chance it will go red, or do you think that Michigan will go for commie cackles instead? Close, but I think Kamala. I think that Trump gets Pennsylvania. It's very close. We'll be talking about that separately. He gets Georgia. He gets North Carolina. He appears to be getting Nevada and Arizona. That, by the way, is the election. Wisconsin, 50-50. But as far as Michigan, I would say it's probably going to go Team Kamala. Yeah, there's rapid uplift at a volcano in Tanzania. Most people don't even know Tanzania exists. It's actually a pretty based country. When you talk about African politics or African economics, Tanzania is relatively developed and definitely more safe for tourists than the average nation in Africa. Now, the Maasai have a couple of practices that some people might look askance towards. That's the predominant tribe that lives in the region of Tanzania and a little bit elsewhere. Like, for example, drinking milk mixed with cow blood. You know, you walk up to a cow, you stab it, you take its blood, mix it with the milk, and then drink it. Nutritive, yes. It is a little bit odd. The average person from the West would probably consider it that way. They also have a practice where prepubescent girls routinely do things with older males. This is not considered to be wrong in their particular culture. And so, unfortunately, that happens a lot. And there's a lot of syphilis as well among the Maasai tribes, certain ones of them. I think that some of them have decided to abandon some elements of their lifestyle, but some of them still hold to it. And there are several 100,000 of them, if I remember correctly. But Tanzania overall is relatively developed. Relatively safe for tourists. If I was going to go to Africa, it would, and it wasn't North Africa like post-Saharan Africa, probably Tanzania would be the country that I would go to. Looks beautiful, by the way. Nice fertile soil and everything else. The Maasai are pastoral in nature, so typically it's like cattle raising and stuff like that. A lot of people don't know anything about them. You should study the Maasai. You should also study the Yanomami down in South America. By the way, if I'm pronouncing any of these words wrong, I'm from the eastern side of Vermont. I'm literally Farmer John, so, you know, you're expecting too much from me, I suppose. The irony being that I'm also an editor and an author. So, yes, you have a volcano there, and it's an interesting one. I'm going to read a little bit of this verbatim. Let's see. Where did I intend to start? I can't remember exactly where I was going to start. Yes. Tanzania's Oldonyo Lengai, a name that means mountain of God in the Maasai language, is the only active volcano in the world that produces carbonatite lava, which has unusual coloring, erupting black or gray, but cooling to bone white. Eruptions present a constant threat to surrounding communities and compromise tourism and air traffic in the area. And records go back to the 1880s. So this is a very unique volcano, and it looks like it's going to erupt again. I don't know whether this is good or bad. I suppose it's bad for the surrounding area and villages in the region, but it's probably good for tourism. You know, when you get a fresh coating of white on the only volcano in the world that's actually actively producing carbonatite, it might be a little bit of a tourist attraction, or at the very least, scientific teams will come in. They'll spend their money in the country too. It's me again, Sai. If I did drink mixing vid, would people watch them? Well, they watch AOC do that on a regular basis. Yeah, AOC used to be a bartender, which surprises literally nobody. Crusader Capitalist, Spicy V8 or bust. Fuck you. Just joking. Still a clanker. At least you're drinking V8, but it's not the right form of V8. They did have one, or I think they still have it, the berry V8 or something. That was okay, but it's like if I'm drinking, look, I want to drink like 100% real fruit juice if I'm drinking fruit juice at all. And I don't drink it very often unless it's orange juice. If I want vegetable juice, just put the fucking vegetables and herbs in there with some salt and call it a day. It was already perfect to begin with. God, the recipe, I think, when was it made? When was... I'm fact checking this live. What year was it? 1904. Oh no, that's some. Oh, that's the V8 engine. That's not exactly. That's not what I'm looking up. Although it's probably so. Yeah, 1933. That's when in Evanston, Illinois. Original plant-powered drink. By the way, fucking delicious. I was looking up the V8 engine. The engine is more famous than the drink, unfortunately. I don't know. I'd prefer, a lifetime supply of V8 drink to, even a sports car with a V8 engine. Mayor Mike, we need to remind everyone why Harris was chosen as VP to begin with. If they got rid of Biden, they would be stuck with her. Now she's the second coming. Also, check your XDM for the songs. Thank you very much, Mayor Mike. I appreciate the shipments, by the way, that you've made. Yeah, she was chosen as a literal diversity hire. When you point this out, you're called racist and or sexist, even though it's true. The truth, goes beyond those labels. Gerald Armstrong, is it true that NYPD officers have to put their pronouns on their breast bar? I can't tell nowadays if things are real. My assumption is no. My assumption is that that's fake news. Matt B, the other day in your video, you mentioned H group stats of 40K casualty. They said 2-to-1 Civ combat casualty ratio, then said 20K H group casualty. I think that you're referring to the casualty count in the Israel-Gaza war. Yeah, supposedly it's about a 2-to-1 ratio. That was reported on several months ago. I don't know the exact ratio. I mean, we don't actually know. Could be more, could be less. We're not exactly sure. Fog of War style. Dust thou art. Sticks, do you play any Warhammer 40K tabletop or otherwise? And have you tried the new Warhammer 40K Space Marines 27 Doomcore vibes? Pretty fun. No, I've never played anything Warhammer related. I don't do tabletop games. I also don't play video games at this point. I do my work, then I go garden or hang out and just take a nap or something. Talking to a chatbot may weaken someone's belief in conspiracy theories. Here's where I'm going to stop you. That's just the title. I'm going to stop you right now. It is true that chatbots can potentially de-escalate people. That's a good thing, actually. You think of someone who's, they've gone a little bit kooky. They're thinking of violent stuff, but then they rig up a chatbot. And this probably never happens, but in theory, they rig up the chatbot, and the chatbot tells them, no, don't kill those small children. They're just kids, and then gives them a list of reasons why they shouldn't slaughter the children, and the hope is that they don't do it. Again, not that this happens. Who decides what a conspiracy theory actually is? My worry is that we're going to move from a period in which it's mainly the legacy media and the government to the legacy media and the government in partnership with big tech determining what is or is not true. At some point, you're going to be labeling somebody a conspiracy theorist for saying what literally happened in front of them. So you'd think of a dystopian future, for example, where somebody sees a cop beat the shit out of somebody right in front of them, kill them, bashes their skull into the fucking gutter. They're bleeding everywhere. They literally see this. It was like 10 yards from them. They go online. and they say, look, I just saw this cop beating the shit out of this dude and he died. And then big tech and a bunch of chatbots and shit decide that that's not true. So when people query it, no, that's just a conspiracy theory. The event never happened. That's what I worry about. It's a sort of like a Brazil future. Again, I've talked about that movie before. It's a dystopian movie, very good. I think it was British made, if I remember correctly. And in that movie, basically everything gets completely fucked. Everything is covered up. Everything is paperwork. Everything is regulation. You have a dystopian future in which things are so top-centric that it actually strangulates any capabilities of any individual to function within that society, unless they happen to be, of course, a member of the upper class. Then it's perfectly fine for them. It reminds me of that. And unfortunately, I think that we're moving closer and closer towards such a dystopia. If anything, we're going to end up with an information dystopia in which people can't determine the truth because everything has either been deep-faked, AI generated, or has been covered up in nature. Unfortunately, we're probably less than a decade out from such a dystopia unless we do something. This is why the election, by the way, is so important. Yeah, I mean, keep in mind who the AI czar is. Oh, that's right. It's Kamala Harris. Well, that makes me sleep sounder at night. That's going to worry. And that's totally not going to make me worry. King of Biltong, good morning from Anton's. Biltong is one of the most protein-dense foods in the world and packed with B12, zinc, iron, creatine, and more. Need a healthy snack? Get yours at BiltongUSA.com. Sticks 10 for 10% off. Biltong is delicious. That mini fridge that I've got back at Jasana, holy shit! I think I've got 6 packs of Biltong in there. Anton sends me so much I can't eat it all. You know, you got to keep some on hand for and give it to someone as a gift. Definitely a kingly gift. Here's your protein for the day, my man. Hell yeah. And then finally, we got to talk about Pennsylvania. My expectations with regards to voting there. It is going to be close, unless some sea change happens. If nothing else changes, it will be very, very close in Pennsylvania. That could change. You know, you could have a change that changes things, in other words, in Kamala Harris's words. It could happen. You could end up with another debate. Maybe it goes one way, maybe it goes the other. You could end up with some October surprise, something like that. If nothing remains unchanged, though, then Pennsylvania will basically be a 50-50 sum game. It will make or break the election. I agree with the sum and substance of this article. Neither of them, neither Trump nor Kamala Harris, this article points it out, is likely to carry Pennsylvania by more than 2%. It said that a single grain of rice can tip the scale. And this is why I wanted to white pill people, but also get them active. If you are in Pennsylvania especially, or in any other competitive state, get out and vote, get somebody else out to vote, harvest a ballot, do what you can. Make an afternoon of it. That's it. Vote early, by the way. Don't wait until Election Day because you might be incapacitated on Election Day. Then your vote will still count. And this could come down to literally less than a few thousand votes. That's how close it's likely to be in Pennsylvania. Now, some of these states, they've begun departing. For example, in Nevada, Trump is going to win Nevada. Georgia, he's fine in Georgia. Is it a little bit closer under Harris than it was under Biden? Yeah, but Biden was riding so far behind, that can't really be helped. Is he going to have to campaign much in North Carolina? Probably not. Is he capable of picking off a couple of blue states, Minnesota, Virginia especially? Yes, possibly. It's less likely now, but it's still possible. You could still see a major change in the race. But we don't have that much time left in the race. We're in the middle of September, dude. We've only got a couple of months to go until the election is actually held. And therefore, I would say that Michigan probably goes Kamala. Nevada and Georgia and North Carolina probably go Trump. Pennsylvania might be the hinge on which the election actually pivots. He can pick off a blue state. And if he does manage to do so, if it's election night and he manages to pick off Virginia, for example, The election is fundamentally over. If he gets Virginia, it's done. And considering that Kamala Harris is even more poorly liked among veterans and military than Joe Biden, there is the possibility that that happens. But he still needs to get Pennsylvania. Or at least he doesn't need to get it. But again, my idea is I want Trump to win. I really do. But I want him to win by a fairly large margin. I don't want there to be any particular reason why anyone would be able to doubt the election. I want it to be like, yeah, he wins with 320 or something like that. I don't want it to be close. Would it be better than the alternative, which is that he loses it? Absolutely. But I want it to not be close because I don't want anyone to be able to legitimately question the election results. Because I know that the left is geared up to do so. It's fairly obvious. You know, the more he wins by, the less likely there are riots. They could cause material damage in the billions of dollars. We saw it with like the Summer of Love with George Floyd, you know. Wendy's was burning, Walmart was burning, ma and pa shops were burning, cars were burning. Liberals, leftoids get very, very violent when they don't get their way. So if you're not going to give them their way, then do not give it to them in a big way. You know, they literally attacked the White House at one point. That's been completely memory hold, by the way. Do you remember that? When the White House was forced into lockdown because leftoids were rioting outside and attacking Secret Service, you know, in the wake of the Summer of Love? Or was that because of the Kavanaugh appointment? I can't remember. It's been memory hold so much, I can't remember either. I can just remember that it happened. Probably should archive political footage of that kind for posterity because I'm sure it'll be scrubbed offline because it's inconvenient. BW, I wish Trump would say, I came to your ABC debate, now where's my Fox debate? Yeah, he can do that if he wants to. It would be wiser than simply saying, why should I debate again? I mean, he doesn't need to debate again to win. It's just you want to put her down like a diseased animal. You don't want to straggle this on for several months and stuff like that. Trump has the skills, he has the rhetorical skills, the intelligence, and the proper platform to be able to simply put the race away. And he didn't do that at the first debate. That's just the long and short of it. Hate to tell all of the Trump superfans out there, and I happen to be one of them, by the way, he didn't put it away. He did well enough, but he didn't put the race away. That's what we want. We don't want any possibility that Kamala Harris wins. She is a goddamn psycho. She is legit frightening. It's not like Joe Biden. Joe Biden is like, oh, he's not going to do a very good job. He's going to be incompetent. But I never got the feeling that he would feel compelled to start World War III. With Kamala, I get those vibes. It's a little bit different. It's not the same. Some people are making the mistake. They act like they're equivalent. No. Joe Biden is demented. But at the same time, he's intelligent behind the dementia, so to speak. Like the dementia hazes over his intelligence. With Kamala, she's just fucking retarded. And she's also fucking evil. Now, Joe Biden is self-serving in the egotistical capacity. Absolutely, he's malevolent. He'd cut his friend's throat in order to get a buck. Kamala Harris doesn't need to be given a buck to do that. That's the whole problem. She's like strictly like legit chaotic evil, so to speak. Wolf on the Plains. Regular V8 with 2 shots of Tabasco and a pinch of black pepper tastes better than the spicy version. Oh my God. You don't need to spice up the V8. It already tastes good enough as is. So many dissidents. So many heretics to crush here. We need to clean house. I'm just joking. You can have your V8 any way you want it. Or leave it alone if you want to. But yeah, I'll just take the regular old classic original gangster V8 that's been around for almost 100 years. I hope that they do like a 100-year remembrance for that, because 1933, so you know that century is coming up fairly fast. Time flies when you're having fun. I feel like I aged 1,000 years every single day. Anyways, I'm going to go offline. I enjoyed chatting with you all. Over 4,000 people live. I will be back on Monday, of course, with another live stream. I may be here. I may be in the normal office. I'm not 100% sure. But of course, I don't live stream on the weekend. So I need to take it a little bit more easy. My insomnia has been acting up something wicked. So I'm going to try to get some sleep later, like, actual sleep, like more than 2 hours of it. It's become a real problem. It's been acting up sporadically since I was roughly, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old. But over the last couple of weeks, it's been fairly bad. So I'm going to get my chamomile and try to do my thing. That's about all. Peace out.